Good morning, friends. Welcome back. Today we're planting rare purple potatoes, giving our salad bed a second chance and discovering what survived the summer heat. And believe me, our garden has a few surprises waiting for us. So, friends, we're starting in the main garden bed and it's already pretty crowded in here, but of course I still managed to find a little space between the corn. There's always room for a few more plants, right? So today I'm planting Canadian Wonder kidney beans. I simply place them into the soil, cover them up and give them a good drink. Now they just have to grow, easy enough, at least in theory. Hopefully we'll be able to use our own kidney beans later in the kitchen, because I love them in Tex-Mex dishes, especially in my stuffed Hokkaido pumpkin. I'll link that recipe for you below in the description. We are a little late planting them, so let's see what happens. Well, this is gardening. Sometimes you just try it and hope for the best. Next up are our yellow Creso bush beans. The garden is already pretty crowded, but I found another little space for them. So we're planting them quite late and who knows what will happen, but friends, it's definitely worth a try. Next up is something really special. Vitelotte Noire, also known as purple truffle potatoes. We spotted this rare old variety at the wholesale market, and honestly, could you have left them there? We definitely couldn't. So they've been pre-sprouting at home for a few weeks already, so it's finally time to get them into the garden. First we loosen the soil a little bit and prepare 2 small rows here, and then we squeeze another 2 rows into a different part of the garden bed, because somehow we always manage to find space for one more experiment. We're planting them pretty late, so we have absolutely no idea how this will turn out. But that's part of the fun, right? Have you ever grown purple potatoes, or would you like to try them? And what would you cook with them first? Purple potato salad, chips, or mashed potatoes? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas. Now it's time to plant out even more of our homegrown pepper and chili plants. We started all of these little plants from seeds at home, and they've been waiting patiently for their turn to move into the garden. Well, most of them were patient. Some were clearly running out of space in their pots. Their new home is in the main garden bed, right next to our freshly planted purple potatoes. The bed is already getting quite full, but somehow we always manage to squeeze in a few more plants. I'm sure many of you know exactly what I mean. An empty little space in the garden is basically an invitation. First we loosen the soil properly and remove anything that might compete with the young plants. Then we prepare a planting hole for each pepper and chili plant. And I'm trying to give them enough space to grow, although space is becoming a rather precious thing in this garden. We carefully take each plant out of its pot, place it into the soil and gently press the earth around the roots. These plants have spent their entire lives protected at home, so moving into the garden is quite a big adventure for them. Suddenly there's wind, rain, strong sunshine, and of course, plenty of hungry garden visitors. Welcome to the real world, little plants. Some of them are still quite small, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't catch up. With enough warmth, water, and a little luck, they can grow surprisingly quickly. After planting, they all get a good drink so the soil settles around the roots, and they can start feeling at home. Now we just have to wait and see which plants grow best in this spot. Hopefully we'll eventually have plenty of sweet peppers and spicy chilies to use in the kitchen. You already know that I always have a recipe idea waiting for every vegetable we grow. And now I want to know, do you prefer sweet peppers or really hot chilies? And have you ever grown them yourself from seed? Tell me in the comments and be honest. How many pepper and chili plants are currently taking over your garden or balcony? So the main garden bed gets now a little extra food. I'm spreading horse manure pellets around the plants to give them some fresh nutrients for the next stage of growth. After all that planting, they've definitely earned a proper dinner. And of course, we finish with a good watering. This helps the new plants settle in and also allows the pellets to slowly release the nutrients in the soil. So now everyone has a new home, something to eat and plenty to drink. Honestly, these plants are being treated pretty well. Have you ever used horse manure pellets in your garden? Let me know how they work for you in the comments. Now we're planting Oregon sugar pot peas in our wooden pellet bed next to the bees I've already planted there. I simply place the seeds into the soil, cover them gently and give them some water. Now we just need a little patience, which, as you know, it's not always my greatest gardening talent. Have you ever grown sugar snap peas? Well, friends, not everything in the garden goes according to plan. We planted these vegetables a little too late, and then the heat wave arrived. Instead of growing the way we hoped, they decided to shoot up and start flowering. Apparently, they had their own plans. First, I'll show you what the plants look like now. Unfortunately, they won't develop into proper vegetables anymore. So it's time to pull them out and make room for something new. It's always a little disappointing, but that's simply part of gardening. Sometimes it works beautifully, and sometimes the plants go straight into party mode and start flowering. After removing everything, I add some fresh soil and spread it evenly across the bed. This gives us a clean, well-prepared space for the next planting attempt. Have your vegetables ever started flowering before you could harvest them? And what would you plant in this bed next? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas. Now that our wooden bed is freshly prepared, we are not leaving it empty for long. This time I'm sowing 2 different types of lettuce, Batavia and iceberg, and I scatter the tiny seeds over the soil and give everything a careful watering. Hopefully they'll enjoy this spot more than the previous vegetables did, and hopefully they will give us some fresh crunchy lettuce instead of flowers. Which one do you prefer, friends? Soft and leafy Batavia or really crunchy iceberg lettuce? Let me know in the comments. And before we finish, here's a quick look at one of our zucchini plants. It's full of flowers and the first tiny zucchinis are already growing. Fingers crossed they make it to the kitchen. And that's it for today, friends. We planted quite a lot, rescued an empty garden bed and, as always, started a few slightly late garden experiments. Now we will let nature do the rest. If you enjoyed gardening with us, please leave a like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friends.